South Borough, anything we're full up a style, she said, full up my pocket full up a call when me go pull up.
Good morning, my friends. We are live at Cubcam TV. It's Brekky In The Cave.
Ready. Like lava, but my
Sounds of Jamil on this one with Lava. Tell I was listening to it before the show, can't you? Yeah. As my early morning locked in crew, as per, throw a like on the video, leave a comment, let us know where you're locked in from. And of course, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button as well. We've gone up like 20 overnight, you know. Madness. We've got a mega show on the way, so I'm going to let this one run through and then let you know exactly what is going on. I'm feeling a little bit on the ropes today, I can't lie, and I'm going to tell you why in just a second.
Stay true to my thing, this is my testimony. My thing no regular, me no sin no competitor. My girlfriend check my cellular and support a dozen Melissa. Yeah, set them back up in my style, one bag of editor. Them know some had the done, but they take over, them not ready for. Yeah, but who jobless, and know the rest. Of course, man been through loneliness. Know the watch, I roll the legs to church a bit the glorious. Think them line with steel, something enough for the board the vest. Jews land want more because you know we go for less. No, my claim to my step, no win, no unducted. They said to that, no win, no funny. Yeah. The vehicle my person never none no Sunday. You see the chain for my neck, now stop upset the bunny. I'm a nah do what them do fi make you money. She say me sweet, but some my style make you yummy. That I kill if I see them, get your money. Stay true to the thing, this is my testimony. Full up a style, she say me full up my pocket full up a call when me go pull up Rivali, we no regular. South Borough, anything we ready for. Me clean to me step, now we no nothing dirty. Woman me say to that, now we no nothing funny. You see the vehicle, my person never no sunny. Chain for my neck, now stop upset the bunny. Now do what them do for make you money. She say me sweet, must my style make you yummy. That I keep the fast, get your money. Stay true to my thing, this is my testimony. Try that, great that. Patriots. Yeah.
Right then, my friends, we are live inside the building. It is Brekky In The Cave. Thank you for joining us this morning on this fabulous day. It's Tuesday, and it's been a good start to the week. I've got to say, we had a great show yesterday. Out to everyone who got involved. And today, we're going to be carrying on those good flavours with arguably our strongest lineup in one morning we've ever had. And I'm going to be getting into that in just a second. First of all, though, I want to make a little bit of a disclaimer for today's show, and me probably being a little bit less lively than normal. So, I'm going to tell you a little story before we get into the rest of the show. My phone is blowing up on my right hand side. So yeah, I'm going to tell you a little story about my day yesterday. So on Sunday evening, I got a message off the guys at SoundCloud saying, "Hi, we'd really appreciate it if you could come and be involved in our advert that we're filming tomorrow." So I go, "Yeah, sure, I'll get involved." And they were like, "Yeah, all we're going to be doing is eating chicken. There'll be a few other people there. It'll be fun." And I went, "Okay, cool. Yeah, this sounds like good fun. Yeah, I'm down for it. Yeah, good. Rolls around to 4 o'clock. And I go, okay, cool, I'm going to head out. And I head down to the studio. They've got a room down at the Bottega Rooms in Brighton. And it's like a proper film studio in there. And I get in there and I go, okay, cool, this is going to be sick. I wonder what we're going to be doing. After 2 hours of kind of watching cameras get set up and stuff like that, I then find out it's a hot wing eating competition. Now, I don't mind a hot wing. I don't mind spice. I'm not someone who's dreadful with it, but I've never entered into a hot wing competition before, and I don't like spice for the sake of spice. However, I find out that people are basically being randomly paired together. You have to ask each other questions, and after you've answered each question, you then have to eat the hot wings, and there's 10 wings in total. And we're talking like many Scovilles here. We're talking like upwards of 10k, I think, on some of the sauces, which, bear in mind, I don't normally eat super spicy stuff. I wasn't, you know what, I knew it'd be an experience, and it's definitely something I'm going to be able to tell people about, including people on this show, for instance. But I remember kind of sitting down as we were to start. We went last as well, though we went second to last, about four hours after we got there. And me and Brighton Cypher, we won. We got the quickest time, 6 minutes 30, 10 hot wings in 6 minutes 30. But I'm feeling a bit ropey today. Now, afterwards, I felt obviously a bit euphoric because there's about 1,000 endorphins going off in every part of my head because of just how spicy these little motherfuckers were. But in general, it was a great day. It was a great day. But bear with me if I'm a little bit slow, purely because that is why. I didn't expect it. If I'd have known, I would have probably not done a show today and given myself ample time to recover. But that's probably why I'm going to be talking a little bit slower. I'm not going to be super jumping around the place as I normally would do. We're going to have some nice, concise, relaxed interviews as we break down today's guests. So today's guests, let's get into them. We have first on the lineup today, we've got man like Shapes, a fantastic producer and DJ, really been kind of making his mark over the last sort of 18 months in particular. Releases on CIRCUS Records, obviously Crewcast as well, been involved in some of the biggest remix EPs this year, and of course, as well as that, has literally just featured on Brucey's brand new remix EP, which is sounding amazing. So obviously his remix did actually feature in Fresh Fridays last week, and we gave it a bit of a breakdown and a bit of a review. As well as that, man like Roska is in the building. Now, if we're talking UK music legends, if we're talking foundational UK music legends, I don't think we can look much further than Roska if we're talking UK funky. The Don, the OG, the guy that has essentially, I don't want to say carried, but has played a big part, in keeping that scene moving and keeping it vibrant, obviously through the label he runs, which is called Roska Kicks and Snares, and through his release work as well. It's been sick to see just how consistent he's been able to be over the years. I remember listening to Roska back when I was like literally like 12, 13, 14. So he's been in the game for a hot minute now, and it's going to be really good to talk to him and break down like what he's been doing over the years, like obviously his career as a whole, and just breaking down more than anything else his approach to staying consistent. Like, how do you keep motivated after all this time? And as well as that, we're going to be talking to man like Elro. For those that don't know, one of the most popular videos ever uploaded onto SBTV. Elro, a unique rapper is the best way to put this, I think. He has featured on Don't Flop once, I believe. Just a real fan of linguistics and language, which is what I'm going to be looking forward to breaking down. We have got a couple of tunes from him that I still need to download from the old email, actually. So I'm going to open up my email now so I can download them during the next song and not forget as we go. We've also got some bangers on the way, which I am very much looking forward to. But yeah, the overall look at today's show is going to be very exciting. We're going to be live until 12. We've got loads of stuff to discuss. We've got loads of news nuggets as well, including some very exciting Billboard news. But what I'm going to ask is every single one of you who is locked in currently to throw a like on this video. The more likes and comments the videos get, so that means chats on the right-hand side, the more likes and comments it gets, the more YouTube pushes it out across social media feeds. So the more people that like it and give us a shout out in the live chat on the right-hand side, the more YouTube thinks, this is an interesting video, so I'm going to go and support it. So yeah, if you can, let us know where you're locked in from on the right-hand side and who you're looking forward to most out of today's guests. That would be very enjoyable. And also, if you could throw a like on the video, it literally takes less than 3 seconds to do. So that's definitely something that I'd recommend doing, because it makes it better for everyone, you know. Let's have a little look through then our daily announcements as we go. You can make sure you're subscribing to the channel by clicking that little button down there. I think we went up 20 subscribers yesterday, which I think might be the most in one day I've ever done. So it's growth, baby. We're growing. We're getting there. It's looking lively. And just in general across the board, the channel really, really is growing. The average viewership per video is going up. With YouTube, what happens is if a video hits a total number of views in a day, I think it is, that is 10% of your follower base, it classes it as a successful video, so it's more likely to push your content to other people. So thank you everyone who is getting involved with the channel, because it's really exciting to see that actually developing and taking place. Socials, obviously, you can catch me on @KXVU on Instagram, as well as Facebook, Twitter, and finally SoundCloud. All of those, as you'll see in the top right-hand corner of the screen, @KXVU. As well as that, if you are looking into the show for the first time and my TVs want to start working properly, Breakfast with Cove with the interviews, you can catch the podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, and SoundCloud. We get rid of all the music and it just turns into a nice piece of long-form vocal content. As always, quick shout to our sponsors, Sharpen Digital. They really do help with the show. They help with the SEO, and they are obviously the alternative to hiring social media managers. They make a massive difference in regards to getting content out there and helping channels grow. So if you've got a project that needs help, they are the official sponsor of Brekky In The Cave, and I could not recommend them enough. So final announcement of this morning. Now this is where it gets interesting, because this wasn't the video I did yesterday. This isn't what I went to do yesterday. Ironically, I filmed this video yesterday because the sauce that Don't Flop sent me arrived and my Clash dropped last week. So I decided to do a hot sauce challenge, reacting to my first rap battle in 5 years, going up against Henry. And every time there's reaction, I take a dab of hot sauce on a chicken nugget. So that's the video that's dropping later today on the channel. and it's quite reactionary. But then I found out I was doing a hot wing challenge later on in the day, so my insides must be going, why did you do this to us? Why did you do this? But there we go. As you can see, there are 3 guests. We're going to get into a banger in just a second. Some sweet vibes this morning. This one coming to us from the one and only Luciano, going by the name of Jar Army. Out to everyone looking in this morning, of course. Out to man like Jack in the chat saying, hello, KXVU, I'm back again. Well, it's good to see you, sir. It really is good to see you. Thanks for joining us again. I'm loving the fact we've got consistent viewership now. We've got people who do look into multiple shows. Out to man like Philly B saying, yes, KXVU, looking forward to Elro's interview. So am I, man. It should be a good one. I've got to say as well, literally inboxed him within about a minute. He got back to me being like, yeah, sure, I'm down to come on, which is lovely. I love it when that happens. And to be honest, everyone on today's show did that. So there we go. It's nice. I do love it when that happens. Let's crack on with this one then. Sounds of Luciano with Jar Army. Fresh reggae music here on Cubcam TV. It's Brekky in the Cave. Oh, yes. As I said before, please do make sure you are getting your shout-outs in on the right-hand side. Let us know if there's any bits of news you want me to cover today. I've got a few in the bag, but I will obviously be covering different things if people want me to. So there we go. Throw a like on the video, my friends. Come on.
I'm ever ready. From the words were spoken, from the days of anciency, it was ordained to be. I fulfill my destiny. What is to be must be. Say anyway, Jah army go. I get man will follow. And anyway, Jah army go. Rasta man will follow. Yes, anyway, Jah army go. Kabbalah man will follow. Anyway, Jah army go. Again, I will follow. We fight against the Amorites and destroy the Philistines. 10,000 to my left and 1 million by my right, fighting with all of my. Oh, Jah army's battalion strong, fighting all day long, defending the poor and the meek of the land. On creation, say anyway, Jah army go. Anywhere, I get man will follow. And anyway, Jah army go. Rasta man will follow. Yes, anyway, Jah army go. Kabbalah man will follow. Anyway, Jah army go. Anyway, again I will follow.
From centuries upon centuries ago, from the days of antiquity, the vanguards of the faith have journeyed through time and space into the periphery of existence. We have come to destroy the forces of evil and obliterate the workers of iniquity and witchcraft. With righteousness, we eradicate and annihilate the evildoers of the earth.
To the ends of the earth and the depths of the sea, to the highest mountain, perform Jah works, I'm ever ready. Once Jah words were spoken.
Anywhere Jah army go.
Anywhere, anywhere,
Rasta man
never
will
get. From the days of anciency, it was ordained to be. I fulfill my destiny. What is to be must be. Say anyway, Jah army go. I get man will follow. And anyway, Jah army go. Rasta man will follow. Yes, anyway, Jah army go.
Right then, my friends, we're live inside the building. Hope everyone is doing okay today. I can't lie, boys, I'm feeling ropey, feeling a tad ropey, but we're going to enjoy the show today. We've got loads of good stuff to discuss. That one coming to us from Luciano, absolute veteran by this point in time, just constantly bringing us good, soulful flavours. Wicked tune, that one. Obviously, we've got a real love of reggae music on this show. It's something we love to kind of keep up to date with and make sure we are staying ahead of the curve with in regards to new artists and new releases, but occasionally someone like a Luciano, who is just a legendary figure at this point, will come out with a banger like that, and we get to enjoy it here in the show. I still don't understand why there isn't a well-known reggae breakfast show. I really don't understand it. It's why I try to play as much reggae as possible on this show, purely because it works in the morning, man. If you ever meet someone that doesn't like reggae or garage, there's something up. Like, really, there's something up with them. Like, let's be honest here. If you don't like either of them, then what? Anyway, let's crack on with a bit of news this morning. Pop-ups. Get out of my screen. Drake breaks record for most top 10 Billboard Hot 100 hits thanks to new DJ Khaled collabs. Drake breaks the record for the most top 10 hits in the history of the Billboard Top 100 as he tallies 39th and 40. As he tallies his 39th and 40th top 100s on the latest chart. As previously reported, DJ Khaled's Popstar and Grease both featuring Drake roar into the Hot 100s numbers 3 and 8 respectively. The songs start at numbers 3 and 4 on streaming songs with over 28.4 million and 22.1 million streams respectively, according to Nielsen Music and MRC data. That's where the information comes from. On digital song sales, they arrive at number 1 and 7 with a respective 15,000 and 9,000 sold. They also drew 13.1 million and 3.5 million in respective radio or airplay audiences in the tracking week. So there we go. Very, very exciting stuff. Khaled now collects his 5th and 6th top 100 hits, while Drake with his 39th and 40th passes Madonna, who was on 38 for most career top 10s on the chart, which began on August the 4th, 1958. So here's the listing, which is going to make for quite interesting listening, I feel, as we run down the most Billboard Hot 100 top 10s. Drake currently sits on 40. That's the number 1, but we're going to work back up from the bottom. So Taylor Swift, Elvis Presley and Lil Wayne are all sat on 25. Elton John, Janet Jackson are both on 27. 28 for both Mariah Carey and Stevie Wonder. 30 for Michael Jackson. 31 for Rihanna. 34 for the Beatles. At 38 for Madonna, with Drake at the top with 40. Very interesting stuff. There's a couple of surprising ones there that you kind of don't realise that... I didn't realise Madonna was in the lead, if I'm honest with you. Like, I obviously Madonna's been around for a hot minute and has been realistically putting top tunes out for a hot minute. Let's be honest. But I just don't really know. I was just surprised to find out that Madonna was second or top at one point, which I don't know. Maybe that's just me being a bit ignorant. But yeah, I found that a little bit surprising to look at. Drake had first hit the top 100 chart in July 2009 with his breakthrough single "Best I Ever Had," which peaked at number 2. Madonna still holds the mark for the most top 100 top 10s in lead roles, encompassing her entire haul of 38 top 10s. Due to the partly collaborative nature of hip-hop, Drake has posted 25 top 10s as a lead and 15 as a featured artist. So he's still got a fair way to go, but it's Drake. He's got about 30 years left in what he does there. Realistically, to do that in 11 years, to break that record that Madonna holds and has been holding for something like 30 years, to do it in 10 years is madness. Like, let's be real here. What's your favourite Drake tune, people? And I will refuse to admit that you don't have... I will refuse to accept that you don't have a favourite Drake tune, because Drake is quite clearly, as it says on the Billboard Top 100, he is the GOAT. He is the best of all time when it comes to making catchy, top-selling records. Now, so being catchy doesn't mean you don't like it. It means it's catchy. That means you do like it. So if you have a favourite Drake tune, put it in the chat on the right-hand side. And yeah, we'll go from there. Out to all the locked-in crew this morning, each and every time as per. Let's get into this one next then. Coming from the sounds of, you know what, I'm going to run it again just because I love this tune so much. Sounds of Chronics on this one with Cool as the Breeze. Keep it locked. It's Brekky In The Cave.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah. 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 Roll out to Cool as the Breeze. While it look like a science book, where a school never teach. Rev the truck up to the mountain top, and as soon as me reach, go get the sun, kick the shoes off my feet, then me bless the cup, 32 sounds me read. Give thanks for the love me receive, me work every day, in the street, and every day end with nights like these. When a holiday, touch from the beach. A white t-shirt and a cut off jeans, and we no need no sneakers. No. Sun grains and massage my feet, blessing a flow like river. Girl drop asleep, she steam the indica, wake her and say, sun burning up till it red. Welcome to Kingston every day. It's a summer every night, feel like a Friday. Rev the bike till I'm swear. It's on my high grade, I make the irate. Still we not got red guys and nobody thinks every night.
Starting to feel a bit more normal, I won't lie.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. General, when we touch the road, me and my empress and my brother, then we roll in the strange. Herbs split like a emerald and 1 pound. Now several in the chalice, but we talk no Babylon to the vapor. Tell her then they're ready for the energy. We bring in every style of them, I follow, yes, how we are the maker. Spending like I run, I think I Bolton. We come and remember every day of summer when they're there at Jamaica. Hold on, oh, baby, this place kinda crazy. Oh, everybody a dance, catch the energy. Babylon can't stop the music. Rastafari keep it grooving. The whole world a free for touchdown in the West Indies. God, the sun's burning up till it red. Welcome to Kingston every day. It's a summer every night, feel like a Friday. Rev the bike till I'm swear. It's on my high grade, I make the irate. Still we not got red lights and nobody thinks every night a Friday. Oh yeah, every day. In the streets, every day and with nights like these. When a holiday, we touch on the beach. A white t-shirt and a cut off jeans, and we don't need no sneakers. No, the warmth and paint and massage my feet, my locks long like Jesus locks. When the steam this sativa, la 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 la, dance la 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 la, dance oh la la, dance la la la, dance la la la, people dance.
Right then, my friends. Sounds of Chronics on that one with Cool as the Breeze. One of my tunes of the year so far, in my opinion. Absolutely wicked dub. Really, really cool tune. Something a little bit different as well. I like the fact that it isn't just a classic dancehall tune or a classic reggae tune. It's a very nice middle ground, and it incorporates so many different kind of areas. Those hip-hop style, like MPC drums that really, really work nicely. It's just a great tune all around, to be honest with you. So, let's crack on with another bit of news before we jump into our first, realistically, our first guest of the day, which is going to be Shapes, coming up in a few minutes' time. I just want to get through this because the NBA 2K21 soundtrack has been announced. It's looking very exciting indeed because there are some UK bangers on there, and this is what we like to see. We like the fact that UK tunes are now getting put onto American games such as 2K21. If you're trying to think of a more American sports game than a basketball game, I don't think you can. But I've got to say, I do like the front cover for this because it's got like a vinyl, but the vinyl looks like a basketball, like the way the paint looks on it. That's really, really clever. Here we go. The soundtrack for NBA 2K21 has been revealed, and among the artists featured are a number of the UK's heavy hitters. At launch, the soundtrack will contain 52 songs and see appearances from the likes of J Hus, Little Sims, Stormzy, Ocean Wisdom, P Money, and Shay Lingo. Madness. As always, the soundtrack is dominated by mega US artists and will also feature Pop Smoke, Roddy Ricch, Rick Ross, and more. The next generation of 2K21 will launch with 202 songs. Will be regularly updated with songs from various genres, including hip hop, R&B, rock, electronic, and pop. Music has always been an integral part of NBA 2K, and each year we strive to expand our approach to players' in-game experience, said Vice President of Global Marketing for NBA 2K, Alfie Brody. This year we're able to bring the soundtrack to completely different heights with a highly curated track listing powered by next-gen technology, and a cover athlete in Damian Lillard, who's adding unreleased tracks together, embodying the 2K21 theme. Everything is game. Everything is game. Everything is game. Is that a phrase? That's new to me. Anyway, let's have a little look through some of these tracks that are featured on it. There's a Spotify playlist that I'm looking through, which has all of them in apparently. So there's The Weeknd on there. You've got some Jack Harlow, some Roddy Ricch, some Juice WRLD, some Anonymous and Denzel Curry, some Lil Baby. Stormzy Bronze is in there. Interesting. You've got some Jack Boys in there with Travis Scott. You've got Polo G, Stunner for Vegas, NLE Chopper, Mike Will made it. That's the track called Go Stupid. You've got Venom by Little Sims in there, some ASAP Ferg, some Strokes, Pop Smoke, Some Lil TJ, J Huss with Fight For Your Right, nice tune to have on there. Sheikah with Crown, Rick Ross, D Wade, Raphael Sadiq, and UD have a tune on there as well. Young Boy Never Broke Again, some Shay Lingo with My Block, wicked tune. Tory Lanez, some Lauren DeClassy, Ocean Wisdom and P Money with Breathing. You've got some Pure Bathing Culture, some Khaled B, some Wale, some Jay Critch, some Chris Patrick. Yeah, that's all I'm going to read out because otherwise I'll be here all day. But there is a load of bangers on there. It's a well put together track listing, and I feel now in gaming, sound tracking is so much more important than it used to be. Like FIFA, if you look at the track listing on FIFA, every single one of those tunes is going to hit at least 1 million on YouTube at some point, purely because they're on FIFA. So I think realistically, curating the best possible playlist is a very important thing now. I mean, I am sort of convinced that Billie Eilish blew up the way she did because of the track she had on FIFA. I'm fairly convinced of it, but let's crack on, shall we? We've got some more bangers to play today, which I'm really looking forward to getting into. And as I said before, we're going to be talking to man like Shapes on the phone at around past, which I'm looking forward to a lot. I'm looking forward to diving into his recent releases. Obviously, there's some bangers in there, and as well as that, what he's got on the way, because I know he sent me over a couple of exclusives, which I'm looking forward to getting into and discussing in more detail. So let's crack on then and get into another banger before we move into the next section of the show. This one coming to us from Showdown Camp and Burna Boy, wicked tune. This one going by the name of True Story. Keep it locked. We're live on Cubcam TV. If you are new to the channel, make sure you are throwing a subscription on there, and of course hitting that like button. It makes a massive difference as we move forward. So keep it locked. It's Brekky in the Cave. Oh yeah.
If it's sparks, then it's gotta be action. Yeah, pull up in the white ghost like I'm Casper. Never switch. I stay 10 toes on the mission. Fish. You just say this be music, it be real movie. Real movie. Overrating discretion, it be blue movie. Blue movie. It's no be fictional based on a true story. True story. I just wanna Range Rover autobiography. True story.
True story, Chappie never been fugazi. Stand behind these bars like that nigga Luke Cage. Ghost like the Revenant, but made it through flames on my Grizzly. Lego City, look what you made. Made something out of nothing, a magician. Tap my wrist, shoot my shot. Damon Lillard, 9 to 5, ain't my grind. I'm a villain. Money bags, body bags, make a killing. These niggas on some dumb shit, talking cavalier, bragging about how they run shit. I'm like, psh, where? Could've rented some, but helped build a few careers. Been paying dues for years, streets owe me some arrears. Just did a 3-peat in the league. Go on, check it. Had one MVP season at least. For the record, not drowning, but knee deep in the streams. More blessings, cause they say the dream's free, but the hustle so separate.
You just say this be music, it be real movie. Real movie. Overrating discretion, it be blue movie. Blue movie. It's no be fictional based on a true story. True story. I just wanna Range Rover autobiography. True story. Somebody should have seen something. If a nigga ever drink poison, you ain't do herself go begin purging. You know my life don't be simple thing. Hate me not like them, cause them not like when me wear bling bling. Some people think it's not singing thing, but it's be celestial and writing. Yeah, everybody knows I'm bad. Don't know man and general. I stay 10 toes, not the sand. Don't need no one to hold my hand. Gun them a broad in a man. Cause when I fling kick out with a fight Jackie Chan. Solid on me stand, so me roll with the plan. Stay higher than a holy man.
My future is shifting now. Focus, I'm no longer drifting now. Vision 2020 on my crystal now. Power change hands, feel it slipping now. Yeah, I know my mission now. Open up the path, make them listen now. Sweet palm wine in the system now. Put the next wave in position now. Yeah. Reporting for duty, I'm on this a movie. Tryna blow 10 billion query like I'm Ubi. Truly that's some bullshit, failure no be option. Don't even discuss it. Told them we were popping again, I'ma stop it. Sorry for the lateness. Grinding on the stairway to greatness. Met a giant for my country, he was A-list. Now we sipping palm wine on the spaceship.
Somebody should have seen something. If a nigga ever drink poison, you ain't do herself go begin purging. You know my life don't be simple thing. Hate me not like them, cause them not like when me wear bling bling. Some people think they're not singing thing, but it's been celestial and writing. Yeah, everybody knows I'm a bad. Don't know my general. I stay 10 toes, not the sun. Don't need no one to hold my hand. Gun them a brand little man. That when I fling kick, I win a fight, Jackie Chan.
Right then, my friends, we're live inside the building, moving into our first guest of the day, and I'm super excited for this one. It's one we've had in the book for a while, which I'm very excited to get into. Cookie, you're in luck. Shapes is on right now. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good, sir. I'm good. It's really good to have you on the show. Thanks for coming on.
Really good to be here, man. Thanks.
No worries at all. No worries at all. And as I said, this is one we've had in the book for a while, and it's definitely one which I'm looking forward to doing, purely because I feel there's quite a lot for us to kind of get into with yourself. Like, I'll start off with a question I'm asking a lot of people, like this lockdown as a scenario. How have you found it yourself in regards to kind of inspiration and the production side of things?
I mean, it's harder to get inspired, and when there's no shows, when you can't go and visit clubs and festivals and stuff like that, the stuff that so often inspires people like me to write the music that we write, it has been a little bit more difficult. But there are always other ways that you can get inspired. You know, I've been doing things like going out for long walks and hikes and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Just to try and sort of like keep the inspiration flowing that way.
Definitely. Do you find yourself getting inspired by sort of that sort of side of things, like more sort of nature and stuff like that?
Yeah, well, sometimes it can be as simple as like a film or something. You know, maybe I'm watching a film and the score's amazing, and I'll be like, oh wow, like that makes me want to write some music. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to just find different ways to like sort of replace that inspiration that you would get from the club.
Definitely. No, I feel that, and I think for a lot of people, and I've said it a fair few times on the show, I think for a lot of people it's almost like opened up new avenues for them to get inspired by. You know, people have kind of discovered new things.
Yeah, fully. I agree with that. I think that a lot of people have I think that they've really found that they can be inspired by other things now. Do you know what I mean? And I feel that's why, especially during lockdown, I don't know about you, but I've been sent loads of tunes from producers and DJs that are not normally what they would do.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's because people are because of the situation, they're stepping out of their comfort zone a little bit and trying something else, which is it's really cool.
Definitely, man. I think to an extent we've seen a lot of producers making stuff that isn't necessarily for the clubs because there's no clubs to go to.
Exactly that, yeah.
Like we're seeing people try and almost step into a more kind of ambient zone. I've seen a lot of kind of atmospheric UKG floating around, a lot of sort of broken beat stuff kind of in the atmosphere as well. It's been interesting. Like in regards to kind of getting sent music then, what's the kind of biggest trend you've noticed in sort of like genre-wise?
I think a lot of people are trying, like you said, there's more of an ambient thing. But the main thing I'm sort of noticing in baseline in inverted commas right now is
it still? Do we still call it baseline, or do we? I
don't know, man. I don't know. I don't even know what we call it anymore. I've been called so many different genres. I've lost count. So I think people aren't scared of a good old-fashioned chord progression or a melody anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's really, and vocals and stuff like that as well. I think that's really started to, people are not being afraid to put original vocals on tracks and to write original vocals and stuff, which I really rate.
Definitely.
I think that's the way to go.
I think with those original vocals as well, that's what kind of opens the door, I feel, to a more mainstream audience a lot of the time as well. Having that level of kind of connection with a human voice is something that a lot of people who aren't necessarily interested in bass music, as I want to say like a passion, it's something that opens the door up to them, I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. I've always said that my dream is to, you want to play your song on a stage and have everyone sing it back to you, you know, and you're going to get that with an original vocal. So I've always tried to put, most of the time I've tried to put use original vocals. A lot of my new stuff is featuring singers and rappers and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm really excited.
Definitely, man. It's definitely a good thing to kind of aspire to as well, because that's what as you said, that's what you want, isn't it? You want that kind of thing of people singing along in a venue, that moment there. That's almost what people, I feel we all kind of crave, and it's something that isn't necessarily that prominent in dance music unless the vocals are there, purely because there's nothing to sing along to.
That's it, yeah, 100%. I just think of the legendary like UK dance floor tunes with the vocal. They've like Wilkinson's Afterglow. That's the example that comes straight to mind. Do you know what I mean? Like everybody knows every single word to that song, and it's a legendary tune because of the vocal, because of Becky Hill's vocal, which is incredible. And I think that everyone should be like, well, I mean, it doesn't suit everyone, but I do think that the more people that try big original vocal stuff in UK dance music, the better, really.
Definitely, no, I completely agree. I completely agree, and I definitely think it's something that for a while I feel people were kind of, I wouldn't even necessarily say scared. I feel people were quite like cautious of it in case.
Absolutely,
to an extent, I feel people kind of felt, it might be too mainstream in the way they were building stuff. And just a question, not even a question, just a bit of a statement. I feel mainstream music isn't easy to make.
No,
there seems to be this rumor about like this weird like belief that mainstream music's it's just easy, but it's just not, is it?
No, it's not. Like, I hate it when I don't know, someone is maybe moving on the underground sort of like UK club network for a few years and then has a smash hit and it goes into the chart and everyone calls them a sellout. Like that tune, like the reason that they've that tune's done so well is because it's really good.
Yeah.
For no other reason. Do you know what I mean? It's not like they've consciously thought one day, I'm going to make pop music now.
Yeah.
Like,
it's such a bizarre assumption, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so weird, man. I completely agree with you on that.
Yeah, it's very, very odd. Okay, cool. Well, let's kind of throw things back a little bit then. So with yourself, how long have you been in this sort of musical realm now?
So I would class myself as being involved in music in a full-time capacity now for about 10 years.
Okay.
I turned 30 in like a month. And yeah, my first sort of job in music, if you like, was I worked on a radio station in Folkestone in Kent, where I'm from. It's just a little community radio station that I love with all of my heart. And this radio station sort of gave me my little start, my first stepping stone, if you like, into. I've always been interested in music, but doing a radio show, every day, I was listening to loads and loads of music, and it really helped sort of fuel that fire a little bit more. And from there, I got into producing and DJing properly and stuff like that. So yeah, that's where it all started for me, on the radio.
Nice. Well, that's good to know. And I was wondering why you were such a smooth talker. Anyway.
No, I've lost it.
So how do you go from like being on what I would assume is a more kind of like community radio? I'm assuming it's a bit more kind of pop centric in the sort of music selection and stuff like that. Like how do you go from that to being essentially working in underground dance music?
So the first show that I did, it was on a volunteer basis. When I went into that radio station at 19, it was like a volunteer sort of thing, and I volunteered to do a dubstep show back then, because 10 years ago, that's when that dubstep was dominating really, and that was the music I loved the most at that time, dubstep, drum and bass, just bass music, I suppose, similar to now. That was I've lost my train of thought now. That was the sort of like went in there, just said to them, like, let me do a dubstep show, happened, and from there really I started playing the pop music. I did the breakfast show and stuff like that. Eventually, because I was quite good at talking rubbish. Not this morning though. I'm having a bit of a break.
So you're now in a position where you're doing a breakfast show.
Yeah, somehow. I don't really know how that happened now that I look back at it, but it did happen. I was quite good at just, I don't know, being happy first thing in the morning, I suppose. So, and I also wanted to take on a full-time role at this radio station. So when it came up, part of the full-time role was hosting a breakfast show as well as doing all the music programming and stuff like that. So it just kind of happened. I grew into it and I loved every second of it. I think breakfast radio, as you know, mate, is one of the funniest things in the world sometimes.
Yeah, of course it is. If you can ever find me the secret for being happy first thing in the morning, please do let me know.
A lot of coffee.
Yeah. So you know what it is. Obviously, when microphones are on or cameras are on, I'm the happiest guy in the world. But as soon as they're off, I am not a happy bunny most of the time.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty much the same, man.
But yeah, that's interesting. So you're now in a position where you're working kind of full time.
Yeah.
And the music side of things is essentially your life at this point. So yeah, where does the leap come in?
I don't really know. So Shapes wasn't always just me. Shapes was a duo at the beginning, as you might know. So you know, I would say 4 or 5 years ago when Shapes started, it was with my friend Liam, and initially we just started out because we're both quite good DJs. We met at a club residency that I picked up down the road from me. He was the main promoter and DJ at the club, and we just like hit it off. And we worked really well back to back. We sort of always seemed to know what each other were going to play, and we had a really good like working relationship. And that just kind of developed, and we ended up putting ourselves under this Shapes bracket to do DJ work and to, you know, chase the dream, I suppose. And yeah, it just kept going from strength to strength. And what started out as like a DJ thing ended up being about, you know, our original music and stuff. So it is the journey. What I like about it, the journey was so organic. I feel like it really like evolved the way it should evolve. Do you know what I mean? Nothing happened too fast and nothing happened too slowly. It was yeah, I enjoyed that first early couple of years with Liam as part of Shapes.
Nice, man. Yeah, I mean, that's, as you say, that's a very kind of organic kind of route to go into. You kind of link up because you're DJing, then suddenly you're making tunes together, then suddenly it becomes about your tunes rather than the stuff that you're just playing for the sake of kind of DJing more than anything else. So I kind of like that fact that it's a very kind of, as you say, organic, quite classic progression as a performing artist. So that's, and then obviously you end up in a position where you are now I'd say you're in that sort of upper echelon when it comes to UK-based music, especially in regards to the music that you're making, in regards to the kind of labels you're working with. And it's been a sick journey to kind of watch from the sidelines. Like I always try to keep my eyes on what's going on across the board. What we're going to do is we're going to jump into the first track we're playing today. Now this is the most recent remix, I believe, and it dropped on Friday. This is from yourself, obviously remixing Brucey and Simula's new one, well, last year's summer classic, I say, You and I. How did you, because I kind of guessed the story behind this one on Fresh Friday. So do you want to run through how it came together?
You got it bang on, man. I couldn't believe it. So me and Brew have been working quite closely together recently. I've been producing a lot for him for his next album, and you know, I've been working on the acoustic remix in that remix package was me as well, working with him. We've been working a lot, we've been talking a lot. And yeah, literally one day he popped up and he said, you know, do you want to give this a crack? Told me that the other two remixes were Boo and Notion, both incredible. I hadn't heard them at that point, but I knew, you know, if I'm the third remix on the remix package, I should probably do something that isn't going to potentially sound like Boo or Notion.
Of course.
Because I have made drum and bass and that big room sort of bassline sound that Notion's so well known for. So I decided to use the opportunity really to give something else a crack. And I really wanted to hear a two-step sort of garage remix of You and I with that sort of like M1 organ synth. Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
Something classic. And I thought I'd give it a go, and thankfully it came out all right.
Nice. Yeah. No, as we were saying on the show, it definitely has that nostalgic vibe to it, and I just couldn't get it out of my head that it was like an idea you'd wanted to do, and it just happened to come across. That was definitely like that's what it felt like to me, and I was quite chuffed that I managed to guess it. To be honest with you,
literally, you're bang on, man.
Like, love it.
Bang on.
Love it. Right, we're gonna get into this one now. Then don't go anywhere, my friends. We are live on Cubcam TV. It's Brekky In The Cave. This one coming to us from Shapes, the remix of You and I by Brucey and Simula.
We are on a wave, take over the place. They ain't doing it like you and I want a holiday, let us fly away. They ain't doing it like you and I. Moving on a vibe, kill it every time that you're doing it like you and I, you and I, you and I. They ain't doing it like 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 you and I. You and I. You and I. They ain't doing it like you. I said I'm dying to see you. Got me waiting for my lady, and I've been trying to free you. Send a couple pics, drive me crazy. She got to mine and we're chilling now. Tryna ask you how's your day been. She gone and drawn for the liquor now. Dim the light, wanna spliff and get wavy. We are on a wave, take over the place. They ain't doing it like you and I want a holiday, let us fly away. They ain't doing it like you and I. Moving on a vibe, kill it every time. They ain't doing it like you and I. You and I, you and I. They ain't do it. Said I'm dying to see you, and I've been trying to free you. She got to mine and we're chilling now. She gonna drawn for the liquor now. Dim the light, wanna spliff and get wavy. Go with you.
Right then, my friends, we're back inside the building. We are live inside the building with a man like Shapes. It's been a very enjoyable start to the day, obviously discussing your kind of route in, which does kind of make me very nostalgic, because that's exactly what happened to me, I've got to say. doing the South Point show on Trickstar, then getting asked to do the breakfast show. That's literally the exact thing that happened to me. So a lot of parallels here. Maybe in 10 years I'll be making remix. I'll be making remixes for Brucey. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, let's kind of crack on then. Let's crack on and kind of look at the kind of last 18 months, because we've got a bit of background on yourself now. So kind of moving forward to sort of like the sort of start of 2019, I feel that's for yourself when things really started like cranking up a level in regards to releases and like and kind of finding your kind of place, I feel, within this like very expansive scene. Like how have the last sort of 18 to sort of 24 months been?
Well, it's been a whirlwind, man. That's the first thing that's got to be said about these last 18 months. Pandemic aside, it's still been like really, really like crazy, really. My all-time favourite record label are CIRCUS Records. I was front and centre at CIRCUS Records shows when I was a kid. Dr. P and Flux Pavilion remain to this day two of my favourite producers and DJs. To get the call up from CIRCUS Records to become a part of their roster was that was a really proud moment for me, and that was sort of like the moment that kick-started all of the new music and stuff that you're hearing now. Nice, man. Yeah, I mean, obviously with that then, like how did that first come about then? Obviously being such a fan, and then how do you end up in the email thread? Like how does that come together? So my agent, I was quite lucky with the people that I was connected to. My agent is Crafty MC, who is his name's Paul. But Crafty MC is his stage name. He goes out with. Can you hear the seagulls? Sorry, I can. Yeah, but you know what? We're in Brighton. It's fine. Like, it's very very normal to hear seagulls. He's Crafty MC. He regularly goes on stage with Dr. P especially, but he's also hosted sets for Flux Pavilion, for Andy C. He did a lot with all of the old sort of like jungle guys back in the day as well. He obviously knows really well Dr. P and Flux Pavilion. So I think it was just a case of like I had the emails as you said, I was in the email thread then, and it's just about, you know, sort of sending them music all the time and hoping that they like it, and eventually they did. So
nice. So it's a simple. I mean, it's sick to hear as well. Like, just to kind of summarize it, how does it feel to be like working with that label that realistically must have influenced you so much? Like, how does it feel for that whole scenario to kind of gone full circle?
It's crazy. I remember the first time I really had that experience of like, wow, I'm working with Circus Records was the collab I did with Dr. P a couple of years ago now, which is still probably my favourite tune that I've done. Yeah, that collab, sitting in the studio with Dr. P, who's one of my heroes, still to this day, you know, one of my heroes, and watching him be able to, you know, do the things that he can, like, it was so bonkers. And I think, yeah, that boosted that hunger. The hunger levels went up just that little bit more. Do you know what I mean? So I really pushed for the Circus signing after that.
Amazing, man. I mean, it's been sick to watch. And what we're going to do is, just to keep this moving, we're going to jump into a new one from yourself. Now, I believe this one goes by the name of Run. Am I right in thinking this is out on Circus? Is it today?
Yeah, it dropped at midnight last night.
There we go. I mean, there's timing, and then there's like heaven sent premonition.
That was a complete coincidence as well. When you gave me the date for the interview, I was like, wow, that's the release date. Perfect.
Yeah. So it works perfectly. So this is what we're here to discuss, working with Circus Records on this one. So describe this tune to me in 3 words.
Big room. Rubbish. I don't know. This one's a weird one, but I made it like 2 years ago. This tune Run, and obviously it didn't sound as good 2 years ago because it wasn't as good 2 years ago. But I that's when I started it, and I just sort of last time I went into the Circus sort of office and played them a load of music, as you do. This was one of the ones that I played, and they were like, wow, we really like this, let's release this. And so I went back in on it, you know, dug out the old project. And
how relieved were you when you found the project and it opened?
Oh my God, so relieved. So relieved. I do remember I had a few problems with it, though. I did have a few problems with it, but we eventually got it.
Yeah, that as a producer, when you know something's going to get signed and it's old, and you go back to the project and go, oh no, oh
yeah,
well.
I know.
Oh,
yeah.
I've updated the plugins. Oh no, it's all going to go wrong. But no, trust me, I've been there. Let's get into this one then. This one is out today. Circus Records business. Man Like Shapes is in the building, and we're going to get into this one now. So don't go anywhere. Keep it locked. Brekky in the Cave. Oh yes. my word. Sounds of Shapes on that one. Run. That one is out today. Circus Records business. Out to Eon in the chat saying very late on. Hello, though. Good to see you. No, you got plenty of time, sir. There's loads more conversation on the way. Out to South Music Official as well. Out to Cookie. Out to Man Like Philly B. Out to Jack as well. If you are locked in, throw a shout out in the chat on the right-hand side. Throw a like on the video as well. Let's get some conversation rolling as we move into the last little section here with Shapes. So, let's talk about the future. What's on the way for yourself, bro? We've got a few minutes left, so I want to make sure we squeeze as much info out of you as possible.
It's just releasing music, releasing as much music as possible. I'm writing an album as well. I'm not sure, when that's going to be finished or, what's even going to be on it at this point. But I am writing one, so obviously that's at the forefront of my mind at the moment. But yeah, the future just looks like just releasing as much music as possible, really, and getting as much out there as I can.
Lovely, man. That's what we like to hear. And I mean, with lockdown, then I'm assuming prior to lockdown, you did have kind of like a stack of bangers that you were ready to roll with.
Yeah, I've always tried to sort of keep with 5 or 6 in the bag. Sort of like move ahead, release and make sure that I'm still writing at the same time. So I continue to have that many in the bag. But sometimes it is beneficial to have what they call them dubs, don't they? The kids, but they're not dubs. They just haven't released tunes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is beneficial to have unreleased tunes just to drop at shows and stuff. But during this lockdown, it has changed everything. You just want to get all the music out there because you're not playing it anywhere. So,
yeah, definitely, man. I feel
that's the mentality.
It's a very unusual kind of like middle ground we find ourselves in, and I've got to say this one has flown past quicker than any other one we've done. I feel it's been really, really good to talk this morning, dude. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me, man. Thank you.
It's been great, and to kind of hear about that kind of journey, obviously with the radio side of things, and then obviously hear about the journey with Circus as well. It's I think for a lot of people they'll find it quite inspiring. I feel that it is a case that you can be like a fan of something and then just continue to chase it up, and eventually you can get to be a part of those platforms that you were a fan of when you were younger. I think it's a sick story that we've kind of uncovered here today. So what we're going to do is we're going to finish up with one more tune from yourself. But before that, social media, what is the best way for people to get hold of you?
So I'm at Shapes HQ on everything, Instagram, Twitter, SoundCloud. Do you know how
happy it makes me when people are the same on everything? It just makes me...
but I had a battle to get there, though. I had a few different handles, but you have to keep checking whether things are available. And, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, man, of course. The ongoing struggle. This is what we find. The 2020 problems defined. Trying to match all your tags up. Okay, cool. What we're going to do is we're going to finish up with this one from yourself. It goes by the name of Our Time, and this features a little sound as well. So talk to me about this one. How did it come together?
So this one is one I've written during lockdown. It started off with a different vocal, and I wanted to write something different. So together with Abby, a little sound, who is amazing, by the way. She's released some absolute fire recently. A couple of big collabs with K9, one with Technomatic recently called Lakota after the club in Bristol. She's smashing it, so go check her out. But yeah, the tune came about. We just wrote the vocal to the instrumental that I had, and we both really like this one. It drops later on this year.
Lovely stuff. Right then, let's get into this one. Dude, it's been an absolute pleasure. We'll speak soon. Obviously, stay in contact for music and stuff like that, and we'll get you on again soon.
Thank you, man. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Nice one, bro. Bless. Don't go anywhere, guys. It's Brekky in the Cave.
Nowhere to hide.
Right then, my friends, we're live inside the building. It's Brekky in the Cave, and we are moving into our second guest of the day. We have a legend in the building. Man like Roska is on the phone. How are you doing, sir?
Yes, I'm good, mate. I'm good. How are you? Good?
I'm good, sir. I'm good. I tell you what, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the line, man. I think this is one I've been really looking forward to, purely because I know there's going to be so many kind of nuggets of knowledge that we're going to be able to get out of this one, and I'm sure a lot of people will enjoy a lot of the stuff we're going to be talking about today. So,
wicked.
Let's kind of break it down then. Obviously, with yourself, you've been. How long would you say you've been involved in this music game now?
I'd say close to 15 years, I reckon.
Nice.
I started producing, and then I got to a point where I was able to just release my own music. I just kind of had to do a lot of research and understanding what I need to do to actually release my own music, because the music that I was making wasn't. There was no labels, or there wasn't anything that could really there's no like homes for my music, basically, so I had to make a home, basically.
Yeah, no, I feel that, man, and I feel kind of over the years, it's become kind of like more than the home for it. It's become almost like to an extent, the kind of holy grail if you're looking for what's going on in funky. I feel at this point, looking through the kind of the Kicks and Snares catalogue, it feels like over the years you've always kind of been there with what's actually happening in the sound, like at the time. So when you first kind of set it up, it was primarily for to release what you were doing. Would you say it's kind of shifted now into being a lot more of to kind of represent the scene as a whole?
I mean, my main goal was so when I started, it was mainly just to release my own music, just to give myself a home and just see how it goes. And then after that, it was like 2010. I took it and started releasing music. So I released like DJ Naughty's second or third release, and then Jamie George, Jay Kenzo. So it was kind of like finding my feet and understanding the game and working with like people that had a little bit of patience for me to make me, continue to grow and understand the label side and the business side of running the label. And then it just kind of built into that position where when I got to 2010, I was releasing on Rinse. So I wanted to keep the label running, and I wanted to give like-minded people and people that artists that were around that didn't really have the same sort of thing as me, in terms of no label, a chance to showcase their own music. And UK Funky was just a perfect place, because there weren't many labels about, and there still isn't really many labels about, considering how long the genre's been around. So that was sort of like the main sort of like thing with it, until we got to I think 2015, 16, when I started like really mentoring artists like Murder Hero, Majora, and then continued over to like Polo, Motu, and just like sort of like giving them a bit more consistency, where it's like we're not just doing like one release with you, we're doing 2 or 3. We're going to try and put on parties, and just kind of like expand on what we have, and give these guys a platform to be able to build their brand and build their name, and understand like how strong affiliation is, and how strong strength is in numbers, and just build something and see where it goes, basically. So it's kind of like a mini experiment, but at the same time it was like just trying to continue doing something that I love, and sort of like build a mini UK Funky kind of economy in a sense.
Definitely, man. I feel definitely over the years that's something that most definitely has been achieved. I really, really do feel like if you were to kind of look back over the kind of like scrapbook of like different years in funky, kind of looking through the different kind of sounds that have come out of it, I do feel Kicks and Snares has been there near enough the entire time. So kind of just to kind of like break it down in regards to like your sound alongside this, would you say over the years, to an extent, your sound has been kind of influenced by the artists that are also releasing on the label?
I wouldn't say as much. I'd say I definitely like my thing with the artists that are on the label is always like I had the same sort of like outlook on what I had when I was on Rinse. So it was like, just express yourself and do what you feel is right. And with my sound, it's just built up on experiences and influences that I've grown up with. Whether it be like the latter stage of like the last 3 years, like including a lot of more dancehall in my music. Whether it be like tracks like Pez Dispenser 2, where it's like it's taken back to me listening to early stages of dubstep, like Hatcher being on Rinse and with Crazy D, like the more musical elements, which are more like, me just kind of sort of like, when I used to listen to like a lot of R&B, a lot of rap, and just a lot of like melodic sort of like music, singing and stuff like that. And that's where like a lot of my like my vocal tracks come from. It's like stems from like, building upon something that involves, more than just a beat, which, a beat can only last a certain amount of time, whereas, vocals have sort of that more longevity. So, it's just building upon what I have and flexing how many styles and influences that I have, rather than sort of like conforming to like a one style, maybe like a sticky or where it's just, you hear that sound and whereas you can still hear the sound, oozing through a lot of my music and know that it's a Roska tune, but I didn't want to sort of conform to having the same sort of like instrument beats and stuff like that throughout. So that was kind of sort of like the plan throughout. And in my early stages of my career before releasing music, it was all about keeping it sort of experimental and being able to just do what I like without alienating those that enjoy what I do.
Definitely, man. Like, as I was saying, I think the progression is very kind of clear to see, and the evolution of the sound more than anything else. And I think just more than anything else, it's been very enjoyable to kind of watch that evolution from afar. And obviously, we're now at a point with UK Funky, I feel, where we are starting to see sort of pockets pop up here and there. Like, how would you kind of describe the scene as a whole in 2020?
It's interesting because, like, I feel there was a period where there was like a lot of artists or a lot of DJs and producers coming through waving sort of a flag of UK Funky, but I feel that, like, because I've been here so long, I've seen a lot of people come and go, and I've seen a lot of people sort of like generally like use UK Funky as like a stepping stone to kind of like get to where they want to get to, or like disassociate themselves once they get to a certain point, which is there's no problem with that. If you want to get into music and you need an entry point, there's loads of different places you can go. But I feel that, like, it's weird because, like, we, the first generation of like UK Funky got a lot of influence from like house and like the broken beat stuff, like like your Kenny Dopes and Charismas and Dennis Ferrers and stuff like that, and then the next generation is like getting influence from us. So it's like kind of surreal, but it's interesting at the same time. It's where like things take a little turn, things progress a little bit. So I feel that, like, there's still room for everybody to do what they need to do and push forward. I feel that there's still like a lot more to come in terms of, like, I feel artists need to maybe like do just that little bit extra to kind of push their sound and align themselves with, like, say kicks and snares, or like just anybody that's around, like, talking to Smooth Criminal recently, and just listening to like his back catalogue of all the music that he's released on Night Creep Entertainment, and a lot of it I was like, I've never heard some of this stuff, do you know what I mean? But it came out literally around the same time, and it's like I was just giving him pointers on what he can do to push his sound out a bit more, and being a bit more vigilant on who's playing, who's supporting, and what he can do to build on his thing. And I think just a bit of experience that that I've had over the years is what can help sort of artists get to that certain point. So it's just a matter of like time and experience that people sort of like build and make it a genre. And once you get like promoters on board that that were willing to take that sort of like risk and stuff like that, that will all come once artists start building upon their profile to make themselves like a household name to get to that point where people are talking about you, as well as talking about the people that are still here and have been doing it for years, like myself. So I think it will take time, but yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I think with that especially, consistency is key, and just cracking on with things and making sure you are putting that extra bit of effort in, not just on the one-off release, but making sure you're always kind of trying to go that extra step to make sure people are aware of the sound. It is definitely key. I'd 100% agree with you on that.
Definitely.
Let's kind of crack on then with music, because we have got some bangers to play. This one coming to us from yourself off your most recent project, if I'm not mistaken, comes from yourself and Alicia Lee. Now this one goes by the name of Tonight. So how did this link up come together?
I've known Alicia for about 10 years, I think. So I met her first in 2010 when Scratcher DVA was working with her, and we worked on one track which finally came out in 2018 called Over You, and And then we just kind of kept working together. She's a really quick writer, a good writer as well. So we just kind of, we do sessions here and there and just built a good rapport, and I just said, oh yeah, let's finish that. She wrote it last year, and then we got her to re-record it this year during lockdown, and we finally got it released out into the open. But just a good relationship in terms of just working with good singers that are like-minded and that work well with my beats, really.
Nice, man. Wicked. Well, we're going to get into this one now. We're live on the line with Roska here on Brekky In The Cave, live, of course, via Trickstar on the DAB and via youtube.com/CubCamTV. If you're looking in for the first time, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button and throw a like on the video as well. Don't go anywhere.
Oh, baby, tell me what you like. Baby, you know I don't bite. Baby, tell me what you like. Baby, you know I don't bite. I'm all yours tonight. Baby, I'm all yours tonight. Baby, I'm all yours tonight. Baby, I'm all yours tonight. Jump on up and go slow. Know you like it more. Whoa. And explore your mind. You've gotta let me on. Won't get this wrong, I'll give you everything you want. Oh, baby, tell me what you like. Baby, you know I don't bite. No. Baby, tell me what you like. Baby, you know I don't bite. No. I'm all yours tonight. Baby, I'm all yours tonight. Baby, I'm all yours tonight. Baby, I'm all yours tonight. I'm all yours. Tell me, baby. Oh, tell me, baby. Oh, drive me crazy. Oh, drive me crazy. Give you what you want. Oh, baby, tell me what you like. Yeah. What you like. Baby, you know I don't bite. Baby, tell me what you like. Baby, you know I don't bite. I'm all yours tonight. Baby, I'm all yours tonight. Baby, I'm all yours tonight. Baby, I'm all yours tonight. I'm all yours.
Right then, we're back inside the building. Out to Majora in the chat saying, yes, Ross, good morning, Kovu. Good morning, my friend. Out to the 440 Records gang as well, joining us for this fantastic interview with man like Roska in the building. We're discussing kicks and snares primarily today, but we're looking at a few other bits as well. I want to kind of look at 2019 as a kind of year, because I feel 2019 in the UK was quite a defining year in regards to sort of genres kind of stepping out and new things happening. So how was 2019 for you, both as a label and as a solo artist?
It wasn't too bad, to be fair. I felt like I was doing a bit more. I've been playing quite a lot outside the UK, so like as a whole, UK's been a bit stagnant for me, where like generally like I'd play the odd time, but like I found myself playing more in America and Asia over the last 4 or 5 years, to be fair. Like it's just been less and less UK as time goes on. So as a whole, definitely good releases from Polo, Motu, and myself and Cersei. So we've just been just having fun with the label, to be fair. I barely schedule stuff in, if you know what I mean, because I just feel that it's just easier just to kind of just find out who's ready, who's got stuff, and then work from there. And I started working sort of like closely and more tight-knit with a few producers, rather than sort of like trying to release everybody's music, because I felt like there was a time where I was just overstretching myself a little bit,
of course,
and trying to do too much for the label. But I feel that like I've got like sort of a happy medium now, and I just kind of keep on. I think like moving on to like this year, I've kind of spent a bit more time just sort of releasing a lot of my own music, and just paying attention to what what I can do for a bit, because sometimes I get caught up thinking about everybody else, and then like I forget about myself for a bit, even though I do release quite a lot. But I think generally like I can release more, and I feel that like I've just got a little bit more to show at the moment, so I've been spending a bit more time doing that. But overall, yeah, I feel that like, yeah, just mentoring the artists and giving them a new space has been like, yeah, it's been really good, man. It's been good fun.
Wicked, man. I mean, one question, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be very keen for me to ask in regards to sort of like upcoming producers and people in that sort of vein would be like, what's the main thing you kind of look for in a release? Like, what's the sort of thing that kind of catches your ear?
Generally originality, and depending on how, like, I mean, you'll find that a lot of artists that I work with, they found like a pocket where they can flex and make their and make a style their own, you know, whether it be Majora with like the sparse sort of like minimal sort of like bass heavy, you know, productions, percussive led, Murder He Wrote with his skippy beats, and you know, and like soft melodies, and then Polo again with like the minimal sort of like tribal elements and like sort of like musical bits here and there, Motu with like sort of like, you know, sort of like the dubstep, grimy, sort of like bass lines.
Almost like a fusion to an extent.
That's right. So my thing is I always look for originality. I mean, I haven't really looked that much recently because it's just like, there's a lot out there, and I feel that like everybody can, you know, do their thing, and, you know, the blueprint's set, so a lot of people can follow what's going on and create their own sort of like lane. But generally, yeah, it's got to wow me, and I think like, at the moment, like, I wouldn't say like a lot has really, really wowed me. I feel that like there's a lot of people that can do more and push to those levels. But yeah, until then, I think, yeah, I'm going to let people do what they're doing and keep pushing out the sounds. But generally, yeah, that's all I look for, really. Just that wow factor. It's got to be something that's super original.
Of course, that sort of, and I think that's, as from like an almost like the A&R perspective, that's the kind of like that's the golden ticket, isn't it? Really, that wow factor with originality. That's like it's almost what you kind of crave, I suppose. Like when music gets sent in, you're opening the files, going, oh, please have that bang to it.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, to be fair, like, I do listen to every demo as well, so it's not like I don't listen to them. I just don't have time to respond back to people.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Like, so kind of moving forward then into looking a little bit into lockdown. You've had a couple of big releases drop during the lockdown period, if I'm not mistaken. You've obviously had your most recent release, which was the Eternal Sunshine EP. You also had Motu's sort of almost like compilation project of his different releases over the years as well. Like, how have you found the process during lockdown?
I find it pretty easy, to be fair. Like, I've just I minimised the promotion window, like where I'd usually do like 2 to 3 weeks. I literally do it like I've dropped it to 4 days, and I just generally like lead up to a Bandcamp day or any specific like significant day. Like, so I mean, most of the releases have come out on a Bandcamp day or a week before, and they've generally done well. So on a financial level, definitely good, man. Can't wait to pay all the guys, man, for their work. And it's been interesting. I thought it was actually going to be harder than when I planned it out, but as a whole, the whole thing's been pretty smooth. And to be fair, I probably think we've made probably more money than if we wasn't in lockdown for the music side. So I can definitely say like the guys are definitely benefiting well from this.
Definitely, man. I completely agree, and I think it's kind of like, almost to an extent, it's almost like the mindset you kind of put on things. I feel there's a kind of sense of if you kind of rearrange things in a certain way, this sort of scenario can be beneficial. It's just kind of finding your footing at the beginning and making sure that you are kind of directing things in the right direction. And it's sick to hear as well that obviously the artists as well are going to be in for a half decent payday.
Yeah,
lovely stuff.
Definitely.
Lovely, man. Okay, cool. Well, we're going to crack on next and play this tune from yourself. It's a remix of Afrobeat and T-Pain's kind of smash hit to an extent, going by the name of Kondo. How did this remix come together?
It was just an A&R request, to be fair. It was just they hit me up to Afrobeat's team wanted a funky remix. They hit me up for it, and I was up for it. That was actually the second version I've done one. They said that it's the thing sometimes with A&Rs, you ask them what they want exactly, and they were like, yeah, just a classic funky remix, and you come back and then it's like it's not what they exactly want. So I was kind of like in two minds to do it again because it's just time consuming. But I've done it again, and they managed to get Murder He Wrote on the remix. So they wasn't sure if I was gonna finish mine in time. So Murder He Wrote managed to get some money out of it as well, which is good. So yeah, that's how that remix come across.
Amazing, man. I mean, it's an absolute banger. We're going to get into it right about now. Don't go anywhere, my friends. We are live on Cubcam TV. It's Brekky In The Cave. Oh yes.
Come to my condo. Roska. Pronto, come to my condo. I know you really, really want to. Come to my condo. Pronto, come to my condo. I know you really, really want to. Come to my condo. Say, maybe my way, baby, I'll wait. Come right away. Body so for me that I wanna feel me. She want to dance it Monday to Sunday. I be waiting and waiting all my life. Yeah, I don't mind, I'ma wait for you all night. Come to my condo. Pronto, come to my condo. I know you really, really want to. Come to my condo. Pronto, come to my condo. I know you really, really want to. Come to my condo. Come to my condo. She wants something. I want something. Early morning, feel it coming. Yeah. Body so for me that I wanna feel me. Maybe we tango. I share my cocoa. I be waiting and waiting all my life. Yeah, I don't mind, I'ma wait for you all night. Come to my condo. Hey, pronto. Come to my condo. I know you really, really want to. Come to my condo. Hey, pronto. Come to my condo. I know you really, really want to. Come to my condo. Hey. Condo, baby, just ask if you want more. Oh, 230 on the dance, so I don't go slow. Girl, you better ask if you don't know. No, you really, 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 really want to. Pull up on the goat, baby, come to. Oh, let me show you some dough. Girl, I wanna be the one that you run to, so I gotta make sure that you come to. Hurry up and come to my condo. Gonna put your feet up if you want to. Baby, come to my condo. Oh, hey, pronto. Hey, come to my condo. I know you really, really want to. Come to my condo. Hey. Pronto, come to my condo. I know you really, really want to. Come to my condo. Pronto, come to my condo. I know you really, really want to. Come to my condo. Pronto, come to my condo. I know you really, really want to. Come to my condo. Pronto, come to my condo. I know you really, really want to. Come to my condo.
Right then, friends, we're back inside the building. That one, Afro B and T-Pain with Kondo, the Roska remix. Wicked tune. What we're going to do today, to kind of round off and finish off this interview, which I've really enjoyed, is we're going to look to the future. So kind of, we've been looking a lot at we've been seeing you a lot kind of pop up on Instagram stories and doing the kind of like Instagram interviews and like with those. Are they going to be something we're going to be seeing more of moving forward?
Yeah, I should be doing one tonight. I'm just waiting for the guest to confirm. So every Tuesday at 7, I'm just getting a new guest on, basically. Just running through a lot of like the sort of like all my peers from like sort of like first generation, and kind of giving like new generation a bit of an insight into UK funky, and some backstories and a bit of history as well, man, which hasn't been really documented. So I've got the first two on my Instagram, with the one with Deneo, which was really good, and one with DJ Naughty. And one thing you will see is that, you know, there's a lot of reasons why people dropped out of funky at specific times, and there's a lot of exit points in terms of, like, it wasn't you know, a straight, you know, I'm leaving and where everybody's leaving. It was like, you know, there's different things and different reasons why everybody's sort of made the leap and the jump to different things. So yes, it's definitely good insights, man. I tried to keep it more open and let people just talk, and it's not really like a interview as such, more of like a conversation and kind of like a reminiscence of like the yesteryear, and just like, yeah, let everybody just have their say, man, and keep it as positive as possible, man.
Nice one, man. Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, I've seen a fair few of them, and I've tried to watch as much of them I can. I can definitely say, in regards to like the stories and the insights that are being given, they're well worth a watch. Not even necessarily just for if you're like looking into UK funky, but just music history in general. I found there's quite a lot of really useful information in there. Okay, cool. With Roska Kicks and Snares then as well. How's the next sort of 6 months looking? I know you said you don't like to sort of plan too far in advance, but how is it looking?
I mean, so far we've got Murder He Wrote doing Murder He Wrote Collection Volume 1. So that's sort of in the works over the next few weeks. That's the main one. Depending on how my schedule is outside of music, I'm possibly doing another Internal Sunshine 2.
Nice.
But then but it all depends on whether I make it before summer ends. I mean, looking out the window, it looks like summer's ended. But yeah, I'm going to try and fit that out. Or, not even or, but and I've got I've been producing Funky D's latest singles, so we should have like a flurry of those over the next 12 months. To be fair.
Wicked, man. It's sounding sick. It's sounding good, and I like the fact that there, even though it's not necessarily like dates in the book, there are still kind of plans bubbling away.
Yeah. I kind of keep it very sporadic, man. I don't really like to pinpoint stuff. It just puts a bit too much pressure, because I've got so much stuff I do outside with, like, I've got 2 daughters as well, so like I'm literally, luckily we haven't heard a scream yet, literally while I've been on the phone, but like I've been homeschooling as well, and you know, parks and stuff like that, so I've been trying to get into doing loads of that, and then trying to fit music in between. So as soon as the missus comes back, I'll go straight into the studio to finish my massive list. So every day I've got a list that I'll go through, and I just tick off stuff that I need to finish and do. So yeah,
amazing,
a lot of stuff, man.
Wicked, man. Well, I'll tell you what, it's been really good to chat this morning. Thanks for jumping on the line and taking the half an hour out of your day. So I want to say thank you first of all.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on, man.
No worries at all. So, what we're going to do is obviously get into the last tune. This one comes from yourself and Murder He Wrote, going by the name of You. Roska, it's been an absolute pleasure. What's the best social media tag for people to get hold of you on?
Yeah, just type in @RoskaOfficial on Google, and I'm there. Twitter, Instagram, and many other bits as well. So yeah, @RoskaOfficial.
Perfect. Okay, dude. Well, we'll speak soon. Obviously, we'll stay in contact, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Wicked.
Nice one, man. Don't go anywhere. It's Brekky In The Cave.
No.
Roska.
Massive shouts out to Roska for the last half an hour. And of course, Man Like Shapes for the half an hour before that. We're going to be getting into our final interview of the day in just a second. Man Like Elro is on the line. I'm literally about to ring him now. So keep it locked. It's Brekky In The Cave. Throw a like on the video. Hit that subscribe button and don't go anywhere. Right then, my friends, we're back inside the building. How are we doing this morning? It's Brekky In The Cave. I did not realise that was, that I had a shorter cut of that, but there we go. Out to Roska and Murder, he wrote on that one. It's been Brekky In The Cave. We're into our final guest of the day. Man like Elro is in the building. How are you doing, sir?
Yo.
How are you
nice
doing?
to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
No worries at all, man. It's a pleasure to have you on the line. It should be a really good one.
It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm looking forward to this a lot, man. It should be a very enjoyable one indeed. So, what we're going to be talking about today, we're going to be talking about rap music. We're going to be talking about new stuff you've got on the way. We're going to be talking about your influences, your experiences. It's going to be a fantastic half an hour of conversation and music. So, let's take things back to the beginning. What was the thing that kind of dragged you in to kind of rap music in general? What was the thing that kind of drew you there?
I think deep down I'm just a bit of an attention seeker. And, I grew up and I just loved Eminem as a kid. And then a few people from around my area started rapping. I was listening to them and I was thinking, do you know what? I reckon I can write stuff as good, if not better than that. So I just started doing it, man. It started off doing parodies and stuff to show off, and then, you know, as you get a little bit further down the rabbit hole, you start doing some more serious stuff. So I think it's just attention seeking, really, to be honest with you.
No, I feel that, man. I feel that. I mean, I won't lie. The first time I kind of got into music was literally because I thought, oh, that'll make me some friends. Genuinely, that was the first thing I remember doing, and that being the reason. Then obviously you fall in love with it as you go, and you kind of go, actually, this is like something I do really, really enjoy. So those sort of earlier days for yourself, then, like how long would you sort of say that period of kind of trialing it and almost parodying it kind of lasted?
Do you know what? I think so. I started that in like sixth form, maybe. So I was probably about 17, and then it took me going to uni. And you know, like if you go to uni, you do this whole new me thing because you can reinvent yourself, can't you? Because no one there knows you really, do they? So I went to uni and started filming stuff in my room, and just started getting a little bit of traction. I just started thinking, do you know what? I'm actually starting to enjoy this. So it just kind of escalated from there, really.
Nice. So very much.
Kind of like I like to explain whatever it is that I'm feeling or going through. I've always had a bit of an obsession with trying to explain to other people what it is that I'm dealing with or I'm going through. And I found when you do it over music, people connect more because they really. They feel it, you know.
Of course, yeah. There's almost like that extra kind of. It's an extra kind of almost piece to the puzzle because people have something.
Yeah.
You
get the emotion with the music, you know. So yeah,
definitely. And I think there's almost like it depends on obviously the tone, the kind of melodies that are being used. All of these things kind of affect people in different ways. And there's almost like I was going to say there's almost like a bit of a synesthesia to the way that kind of gets into people.
100%. That's the way I'm seeing it more and more recently as well. There's a whole another dimension to it, you know, that you, as you say, you can change the tone, the instrumental, all the intricacies of it. You know, I find it fascinating.
Definitely, man. I think that is something that actually comes across quite a lot in your approach a lot of the time. Because obviously, like, how would you define your style as a rapper? Because I'd say it's quite unorthodox in if we're looking at kind of like classic like rappers, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's definitely unorthodox. I don't know. I really try not to define it because you know what? It changes every few weeks. I change my focus every few weeks, and so I wouldn't say I'm ever in one bracket. I'm always trying to escape the last bracket I've been in, to be honest. So I really don't know. I would just say I just try and make it as authentic as possible to me, and so it is quite different to a lot of people because I guess quite a lot of rappers don't have the same background as me, coming from a small South Welsh town, and you know, it's just try and keep it authentic, really.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and I can definitely see that as well in the way you kind of put yourself out there. Because obviously, one thing we are going to touch on is that SBTV video, that classic video that kind of that kind of took the internet to an extent by storm when it first dropped. So, like, do you want to talk me through the process of kind of getting in contact to begin with? Like, how did you first make that link?
Well, as I was saying before, I used to record freestyles in my room. And I remember I grew up listening to SBTV, like found Ed Sheeran on there and various other artists, and I was just like, this is the stuff I want to do. I love it. And so I just kept posting my stuff to SBTV. I think I was emailing them, DMing them, you know, all the links to everything I was doing, just in a hope to get their attention and get a warm-up session. And part of that warm-up session, there was some bars about Boris Johnson in there, and I'd done a whole freestyle about that. This idea of a gangster doing a drive-by and having a pay congestion or some nonsense.
Yeah.
But, I woke up the one morning and that freestyle had like 10,000 extra views on it. I was like, what's happened here then? And it turns out SB had shared the video, and they'd also replied to my probably countless DMs. I don't even. I reckon I must have sent them like 50 or 100 messages.
Mad.
And yeah, they eventually said, yeah, we'd like to invite you on to do a warm up. So it all went from there, really. I think sometimes you've got to spam your way in at the start.
Yeah,
as long as it's not actual spam. As long as it has a personal touch to it and it's not just copy and pasted spam, sometimes you do need to really put yourself out there to get the attention of the people that you want to get the attention of, you know?
Definitely. No, I completely agree, man. I feel there is, as you say, you've got to get attention, and sometimes you can do that through, like, social media trickery or, like, like clever flips here and there or whatever, but sometimes you do... to an extent, have to like battering ram your way through and kind of go, look, I'm here. Like take some notice. What I've got's good. So I think to an extent, it's a good message to send out there that you do have to just eat. When we talk about consistency, it's not necessarily about being consistent once you've got there. It's about being consistent in your attempts to get there.
100%. And as I said, I think the key is to make it personal. I mean, I get spammed loads of links off people, and if it is just a yo, watch this, like, comment, then that doesn't, you know, I've got no inkling to watch that. But if you write a personal message explaining what you're trying to do, and people take you more seriously, because you're not just a you know, a number. Then you're actually a person, aren't you? And obviously, the product has to be good as well. But if you've got a good product to begin with, if you can give them a taste of your story and what you're trying to do, you've got much more chance of getting listened to by the bigger companies, you know.
Definitely, man, 100%. And I think that's I think to an extent, being just as I said, just being consistent with that kind of work. So when you then kind of got invited into do the session, like how did it all work? I'm assuming you had to travel to London.
Yeah, I drove to. Do you know what? The funny thing is about that, every single person tells me that. Well, they ask me, they're like, "Oh, was that blah 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 car park?" Because obviously most car parks look like that, don't they? Yeah. So every person on the planet has said to me, like, oh, is that Sainsbury's in blah, blah, blah? Or is that... It wasn't. It was in Acton. It was Morrison's in Acton, which is near where Jamal was living at the time. I'm not sure if he still does. So, yeah, I just flew down there. I think he was about 2-3 hours late. And I just reeled off my bars. All the bars in that one... Once I found out I got the SB, I basically just cobbled together all of what I thought were my best bars. Because, like, if you listen to that, it's almost it's a showcase rather than, there's not really any story. It's just a piece, you know. I was trying to show off, peacock my wordplay and stuff, essentially. Yeah. So I just put all my greatest hits of the time into that one sort of freestyle, and yeah, I was expecting it to kick off because there was no one else really doing that. But yeah, I obviously didn't realise the extent it would kick off. But I kind of thought it should do well because no one's really doing it. You know what I mean?
No, I feel that. I remember seeing it and it being very much an individual-looking scenario. You know, it came out and there's this freestyle, and we see it, and what we're hearing, we're all kind of going, "Well, this is different. This is a bit different." And then I'm seeing someone else has shared it, and someone else has shared it. Like, it went fully viral.
Yeah. It was doing bits. Do you know, it was most viewed on YouTube at the time. I remember it being on the home page. I was buzzing about that.
Oh, what? As in like the trending sort of section?
Yeah, it was trendy. It was most viewed on for a day at least on YouTube. Yeah.
That's an absolute madness. Like, so, like kind of from that then, like what's kind of happened since then in sort of like a sort of long extended process? Because how long ago was that now? Like 7, 8 years?
I think it was 8 years ago, maybe. Yeah. No, 9 years ago. 9 years ago.
Mad.
Yeah, so how long you got? Lots of stuff happened since then. I made music for a bit. I got signed not long after that. Popped some music out, but to be honest, the whole process was a bit rushed. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with music at the time. And also started suffering with quite severe anxiety and stuff not far after it. So it kind of held me in my tracks for a bit because I was struggling in my own head. So trying to keep up consistency with music when you're not actually feeling like you can even cope with everyday life is a bit of a struggle. Do you know what I mean? The timing was a bit bad, but you know, you live and learn, and through all that now, I've got loads of stuff to write about.
Yeah, of course. So,
I mean, it would be nice to have the exposure I did then again, now that I've got actual content to deliver. So it's just a case of me just trying to pave my path again now, really.
I feel
I've learned a lot in the last 9 years.
Of course. Like, would you say kind of going, just to briefly touch on the sort of anxiety side of things, would you say that was almost triggered to an extent by the kind of instantaneous kind of growth?
It definitely did something, that. I mean, I remember the first day or two when it started blowing up, and I definitely had anxiety from it. I wouldn't have called it anxiety at the time. I didn't really know that that's what anxiety was. But it was surreal, and I didn't really know how to cope with it. And I remember shaking from when you go from no one knowing who you are to pretty much everywhere you go, people coming up to you. It is quite surreal at the start. But it wasn't long after that I had something called depersonalization start from a really acute bit of anxiety, and the timing was not long after that, so it could easily have influenced the overall depersonalization that I had from it all.
Definitely. No, I feel that. I feel the two almost to an extent do like kind of must at some point go hand in hand, purely because of the timing more than anything else, and the dramatic change. I mean, it's all really interesting to kind of hear this kind of story and hear how it kind of grows from there. I mean, what we're going to do, we're going to kind of move things forward and jump into one of the tracks you sent over. Now this one goes by the name of Slow. So talk to me about this one. How did it come out? All of those things there.
Okay, so this one's off my last EP. This one's I just wanted to make a tune that was easy listening, and just documented me chilling in Spoons, really. And we actually produced the track, most of it in Wetherspoons. And there's sounds in there that we sampled with, little sounds that we'd picked up in Wetherspoons, and then made stuff out of them. And a lot of the EP that this song's from was actually produced with a headphone splitter in Spoons and then polished off in studios after, but the core of it was made in Wetherspoons, man.
Well, that's amazing.
I tell you what, there's something therapeutic about. I hate sitting in the studio for too long.
Yeah, you know what? I'm exactly the same as you with that one.
You need a change of, if you go somewhere new, and even just the fact that there's movement and people around, it stops me from going a bit insane in my head, and it keeps my mental process fresh, and I enjoy it. So we did loads of this EP in Spoons, and this track is basically it was just something I wanted to make for a nice, easy listening bit of music about being in Spoons and stuff, really.
Yeah, lovely. Well, there we go. What a good track to play as we move towards the end of the show. So there we go. Let's get into this one. Man like Elro is on the phone. Keep it locked. It's Brekky in the Cave. Throw a like on the video if you haven't already. It takes less than half a second. And of course, hit subscribe on the channel. Keep it locked.
Chicks that I like hello. Check the blue tick, miss, praying that you're shallow. Girl, I'm bringing flavour to the table like marrow. Promise if you get this next round, then I'll pay you back tomorrow. Still rocking 2 figures in my bank a lot. Bank card decline most times, why I rant a lot. Getting soppy off my ex, guess it meant a lot. Always feeling cocky, but I'm stressed, why I drink a lot. Take another sip, then swallow. Yeah, take another sip, then swallow. I know I sound cocky, but it's fake, mate, I'm hollow. For running out of dollar, I can holler, mates, and borrow. Stop thinking we can drink until they close. We don't need no reason, let's just go. No need to start leaving when we don't have a reason to be home. So, stop the racket and see if you can back it. I'm happy sipping whiskey till they close. Or we can move slow. Stop complaining, you always act the same. I guess we move fast to go slow. I'm kinda buzzing that this bird seems keen. I'm 6 beers deep, probably that I'm lean. But she keeps texting on my phone, asking if I'm all alone. But my brain's saying, wonder what it means. Fuck the sitch, it doesn't matter though. But she's getting flirty on the text when we're battered though. She's either using me for kicks or she wants a bit of praying it's the latter though. Nearly 10 p.m. and I'm abandoning the beer, sipping on the spirit till they kick me out of here. Now I'm chilling on my Jack Jones hat back, black coat, praying that tomorrow isn't near. Problems, yeah, they probably ain't a problem at the minute. If we got a motive for tomorrow, we can bin it. We can move slow. So just know. So stop the racket and see if you can back it. I'm happy sipping whiskey till they close. Or we can move slow. Stop complaining, you always act the same. I guess we move fast to go slow. I guess we move fast to go slow.
We're inside the building. Man like Elro joins us for the final section of the show. It's been a wicked one so far, so a massive shout out to everyone who has been locked in, all the new subscribers as well. So what we're going to do here, we're going to look to the now. We've talked a lot about the past today, but we're going to look to the now and to the future. So obviously with lockdown kind of taking place, have you found it to be a kind of have you found it to be a positive or a negative kind of experience on your for you personally?
I would say, for me personally, positive. I went into hospital right before lockdown with really bad stomach. And so basically since lockdown, I had to change a lot of stuff and gave me lots of time to just stop being such a loose idiot, really. Okay. So I've knuckled down with everything and I've just mainly writing and making beats. So for me personally, it feels like it sounds so cliche, but it feels like an actual new chapter. So, yeah, I've done tons of writing, tons of producing, so I've really enjoyed the process personally.
Nice, man. And I think that's it seems to be quite a common theme amongst the majority of musicians we've had on this show. Yeah. I feel like there's been this kind of running theme of, you know what, I actually was able to kind of utilise that time to do something that I wouldn't normally have been able to do. Break the cycle,
isn't it?
Yeah, fully, man. Fully. And even to an extent with breaking the cycle, it's almost like creating a new cycle and kind of going, look, exactly. I've got all this extra time.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm trying to get rid of bad habits and make positive moves, instead of just getting into a rut. So yeah, for me personally, it's definitely helped.
Definitely. Okay, cool. So like with that then, have you been able to like in regards to like recording and stuff like that, do you record from home or is there normally a studio space that you have?
I record with my friend usually, which is just up the road, so it's not too complicated, or a studio in Newport, but I'm actually just investing in the mic so I can do it all myself eventually. Yeah, stop relying on other people, but yeah, at the moment it's just with my mates, so it's fairly easy. Nice, man.
Like, with this kind of scenario, then, have you found yourself able to kind of get much stuff written or much stuff recorded?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting on basically an album's worth written, but the problem is, I want to. I'm going to release track by track for a bit until I've got the momentum that I'm hoping I can gather, because I find sometimes when you put out EPs or anything over about 4 tracks, if you haven't got the momentum that you're looking for, some of them can get a little bit lost.
Fully.
And so the tracks I've made, I'm really happy with, and I don't really want any of them to get lost. So I'm gonna go sort of single by single for a bit, and if I get to the point where I feel I'm carrying enough momentum, then I'll look at dropping an EP after that, probably.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. So when you kind of say momentum, then like what sort of level are we looking at? What would be like the kind of key sort of scenario you'd be in?
For me, it's not like I want huge numbers. I just want a definitive, core following that's definitely into what I'm doing. And when I feel like I've got that, because when you go away as many times as I have, you kind of lose a bit of, and especially with how algorithms work these days, if you don't appear, if you're not doing something active all the time, then you kind of go to the bottom of everyone's feed. So the amount of times people say to me, oh, I haven't seen anything since blah, blah, blah. And you think, well, yeah, I have put it on all my pages and all that, but they just don't share them. So I'm hoping to just gather a core following. And if I feel I've got it to the point where it's, it warrants dropping an EP, I will. But if not, I'm going to stick with singles for now, I think.
Yeah, definitely, man. I think people... I think people can rush into an album, and I think it's almost like a bit of a bizarre kind of switch in scenario, because it used to be the album was what introduced people, whereas now you almost have to build up trust with people, purely because there's so much entertainment available. There's so many musicians that are active. You really do have to kind of go single, and kind of go, look, this is the sort of stuff I can make. If I put an album out there, the odds are you'd like it. And once you've got that kind of trust within your core fan base,
the whole process has changed.
The entire
process has changed, man. Yeah, exactly. As you say, it used to be an introduction thing. Now it's kind of the showcase when you've got everyone in. I mean, when was the last time you heard a new artist come out with a big album that you've never heard of? Usually there's some big buzz before in there, so you just got to adapt with the times, really. So yeah, I'm happy going single by single, because it means I can concentrate on each, try and get the full product, with the visuals and all that, good for each one, rather than have too many going on at one point,
No, I completely agree with you. I think it's the best way to go about things. Okay, cool. Well, we've got a few minutes left. So a couple of things I wanted to touch on. Obviously, you did get involved with Don't Flop back in the day as well.
Yeah.
How did you find that as a process?
It's not for me. it's just not Don't Flop. Don't Flop's great, but battle rapping for me, if you have anxiety anyway, battle rap's probably not a good thing to do. But it is fun, don't get me wrong. There is parts of it that's fun. Spending 3 weeks writing your mum jokes is funny, but it's I've got mad respect for everyone who does it, man, because it takes a serious level of focus. That you can learn your bars as well as you want, but when you're actually in front of the crowd, it's a completely different ballgame.
Yeah, there's no simulating.
No, there isn't, and I for me personally, it's not my forte. I mean, I could do it if I was forced to, but it's not. I get far more enjoyment from making music than I do battle rap.
That makes sense.
But you've got to try things, haven't you? And I guess my style, it does work with that sort of thing. I just don't actually really enjoy the process of doing it. Whereas I love the process of making music.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it feels forced, really. So I won't be doing it again. But I am glad I did it.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the question I was going to ask. Like, were you glad that you kind of you experienced it to realise that it wasn't for you?
Yeah, 100%. Nice. It was definitely a good thing to do, and it's kind of like facing your fears, isn't it? But,
yeah, most definitely. The thing I've always found about it is you can prepare as much as you want, but you never know what the other person's going to say to you. And I think that's where that sort of anxiety level almost like comes in for a lot of people.
Yeah.
That kind of worry. And obviously, realistically, everyone is pally. Everyone knows each other. Everyone is happy, especially within the UK. Like it's fine. Everyone goes to after parties afterwards, and it's almost like sparring in boxing. It's not 100%. Like you're not. I mean, you are there to kind of take the other person's head off, but afterwards you kind of shake hands, and it's all sport at the end of the day. But like there is that creeping kind of level of what's he going to say.
100% there is, yeah, and it's definitely good to delve in. But as you say, you really can't rehearse for it. There's no comparison with practicing your bars in your room to practice them in front of your opponent and loads of people. It's not the same thing. And especially, I've got the worst memory on the planet. So me trying to, it's just it's too long for me. I'm gonna stick with the music, I think.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good though. That's good. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna finish up today with another track from yourself. Now this one goes by the name of Letdown. So talk to me about this one.
So, I mean, it's fairly well documented. I've had various problems with my mental health over the years. And this one is basically a description of one of the times that I was struggling the most. And I just wrote it when I was feeling pretty horrendous. And yeah, again, actually, this one we made predominantly in spoons as well. This one's got about 150 different layers in it.
Wow.
And like, if you listen to each individual 4 bars, there's not really the same. You never get the same sounds. It's an overall piece of music, but there's no repeating. There's different drum fill. Everything's different. Every sort of it evolves. The whole tune, should we say? But it's one of my favourite tunes. This one, actually.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to getting into it. Then I've got to say, Elro, it's been great having you on the show this morning. Thanks for taking the time out and joining us.
No problem. Thanks for having me, man.
No worries at all. Before we finish up, what's the best social media tag for people to get hold of you on?
I'm on @Elro Raps, and that's on everything, basically. Twitter, Insta, Facebook. Yeah, that's me.
Lovely.
Come say hi.
Fantastic stuff. Right then, friends, we're going to finish up here. I want to say a massive shout out to Elro, Roska and Shapes for joining us. It's been a fantastic show so far. As I said before, if you have enjoyed the show, make sure you are hitting that subscribe button. We are on that road to 1,000 subs, and we're trying to get there within the next 3 weeks. So if we can do that, that'd be absolutely fantastic. We're about 160 away as it stands. As well as that, for myself, you can catch me on @KXVU on Instagram, as well as Facebook, of course, Twitter, and SoundCloud as well. For SoundCloud, you can catch the official podcast for this show on there alongside Spotify and Apple Music. We remove all the music and have it as long form conversation. One more thing, massive shouts out to our sponsors, Sharp and Digital, obviously helping out with the SEO for the channel. As you can see, they are the alternative to hiring social media managers, official sponsors of Brekky In The Cave. And if you have a social media campaign that you need a hand with, go and hit them up. I can personally recommend them. Finally, check out the channel at 7 o'clock this evening. We have got the Hot Sauce Challenge. I'm going to be reacting to my first rap battle in 5 years with chicken nuggets and hot sauce, so you can imagine where that's going to go, especially after how I'm feeling this morning. So keep it locked. Don't go anywhere. We're going to finish up with this one from Elro, track entitled Let Down, and we'll see you all in the morning. Peace.
Guess I'm a letdown. I do this every time I get down. I get lost in a spiral of drinking. I'm thinking I'm never gonna get well. What even is well? I can't remember a good spell. Could this mind have adopted this torture? I feel like I'm in hell. I want myself back. I don't know where my health's at. I don't feel like I'm me no more and I'm lost, but I feel I was dealt that. I want my feelings back. I need meaning and reason back. Cause this empty feeling is bleak and I'm craving the peace back. I keep looking at photos, they don't feel like they're me. I don't know who I am no more, but I feel like I'm lost at sea. I feel I'm too far gone and too far detached and my mood feels wrong. What's the use of abusing booze when I've proved that I'm too far gone? But it makes me feel so real. I can feel my emotions return, like I'm in control of the will. But beneath it concealed is a dark plot to the deal. It's a form of escape, but it's fake, but it's one that appeals. I need someone to call me. I need someone about. I feel lost and I can't wait. I need someone around. I just typed in my mum's phone number, then deleted the lot. Cause I don't want to drag her down, but man, I feel so lost. I keep going through my contacts list. I need someone to speak. I need someone to ring me, cause right now, man, I feel so bleak. I can't think what to do right now. I just feel so weak. I just feel like I'm empty, I'm fucked and I'm crying, and I'm sure I'm a freak. It's when I reach for the Hoover, cause the cord's 10 feet. Tie a noose from the top of the landing that I can't reach for my feet. Lock the door and the windows, this time I ain't getting fucked by police. Wrap the cord around my neck, then lean, but the cord cuts deep. Tie a scarf from my neck and it's pointless, but I want to pass in peace. And this calmness is eerie, I'm laughing, and it tastes so sweet. One last look at a photo of family, with this song on repeat. One last breath till I step from the landing, I've accepted defeat. So I lean from the stool and kick it, as I'm closing my eyes. Feel a tingling feeling begin in my feet and it's starting to rise. My brain is awash with the image of lots of things that I did as a child. The pain is a lot, but I'm managing not to struggle in packing a smile. I feel a buzz on my left thigh, one I ain't felt in a while. Get the phone from my left jean pocket and squint as I open the file. Sorry I ain't replied to your text any sooner, I haven't any credit in the dial. But let's catch up soon for a walk or a drink, been a while since I even had a smile. I can feel my emotions return as I sway from the cord and struggle. Just praying for a person appearing and cutting me down, cause now I know I'm in trouble. Reach with my hand to the cord and attempt to escape, but it feels like my body weight's doubled. My vision is blurring, the pain is escaping, I feel like I'm in a little bubble. Now I can't see nothing, I don't feel no pain. I don't feel no regret, I just feel like I'm floating and being unchained. I can hear voices, I guess it's in vain. I can hear bangs on the door, but I guess it's too late.